Hello everyone, welcome to another course. My name is Sanjay Prakash and I am a Microsoft certified trainer in Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. This course is all about project service automation in Dynamics 365. In internet, I have seen that there is no pre-course in project service automation. So in this course, I am presenting a pre-course that will cover end-to-end in project service automation concept. In Dynamics 365, we have many modules, right? Like sales, services, marketing, field service, project service automation. Now, this project service automation is a model-driven app that is created to achieve end-to-end project implementation concepts. For example, let's say you are having a client who requires a product or a implementation part also. Let's say you are selling Dynamics 365 or any product you can think of. Let's say it is Blue Prism or it is UiPath, whatever. Let's say there is a customer who needs to implement a software in their environment, and for that also this project requires a software installation plus the implementation. So in that kind of scenario, you need project service automation concept, right? So in Dynamics 365, PSA, which stands for project service automation, is created to achieve the implementation concept of projects with product also, right? So we will see how we can achieve all this functionality that in a project delivery concept in this video. So let us get started. So the first thing we need to understand in project service automation is its terminologies, because if you do not understand the terminologies, you cannot proceed with the concept of the life cycle of the project service automation. The first term comes into picture is customer, right? Now what is a customer? The customer is something to which, or a customer is someone to which or to whom you do a business, right? It can be an account or it can be organization, like that. So organization, normally B2B business model is associated with accounts, right? So we store customers as an account for project service automation. Next is contacts. Always if you are creating a organization in account, you have to have some contacts associated with that account, right? So the contacts are the persons with which or with whom you interact with for some reason, or for some reason you interact with the customer through these contacts. Because if you created an organization, let's say you created an organization called as Infosys, and you are trying to deal with Infosys, then how to deal with or how to contact? There should be some contact person. So contacts are stored in contact entity, and customers are stored, or accounts are stored in, the organizations are stored as a customer in accounts. Next, opportunity. In sales module also you have seen opportunities are there, right? But that sales module only covers the product based opportunities. But here we will discuss about how project based opportunity can be created for a contact or for a customer, right? Then we will go to quotation. As because we created an opportunity in the system, as because of the sales process, we can create a quotation out of that opportunities, where we can include different quote lines that are project based and product based also. And after the quotation is created, we deliver the quotation or propose this quotation to the customer for review. And if he is okay, if the customer is okay, the quotation will be activated and won and accepted. Then the quotation will be converted to an invoice. And next, in the project service automation, we create a project so that we can associate a project with some quotation lines, right? You can associate a project with a quotation line. That means one quote might have multiple quotation lines, and every quotation line can be associated with a project, right? Let's say you have one quotation, and inside that quotation you have two quotation lines. One is for project based, another is for product based. So product based not necessarily requires a project, because product is just one time sold, right? But project is a duration that we have to assign some resources to implement the project. Like that, we create some projects where we define our project planning concepts, like how many resources are there, what is the resource allocation, what is the time we require, what is the schedule, right? So many things are there. We have to manage a project, and we will discuss about the project, how it is associated with quote. Then once this project is created, we create a contract, right? Now after the quotation, we actually accept the quotation. Once the quotation is accepted, we create a contract, right? In sales module, we call it as an order, but in project service automation, we call it as a project contract. Now once this contract is created, we can create invoices out of that contract. We can generate invoices, and the process goes on. Now in the meantime, we can also plan our project by creating resources in the system and defining their role, skills and all that, and their work hours also. Accordingly, we have to set up our time entries. If a resource is added to a project, then the resource should enter his time in daily basis, and also we have to record expenses that are required for a project to deliver, right? And also schedule board concept is there. Schedule board is something which is used to book a resource for a specific project, right? So these are the concepts or terminologies we are using in our project service automation. And next we will see the life cycle or the flow, right? The first comes into picture in our project service flow is project opportunity, because when a customer is there, then the customer wants to have a project implementation, then we normally create an opportunity using sales collateral concept, right? Now the sales module generate a customer, and the customer creates an opportunity for a project. That's why it is called as project opportunity. In this project opportunity phase, we create opportunities for a project for that customer. Next, we create a project quotation. In sales module also we create opportunity, then we create quotation for that opportunity. Like that, in project service automation also we create a project quotation out of that opportunity. After this quotation is created, we do some project planning. The project planning means is resource addition of and creating the project in the system, and we plan the project, how many days it will require. Let's say you are implementing some project, and you need to understand how many days it will take, what is the requirement analysis phase, how many days it will take for testing, delivering the project, like that. So we have to plan the project in this phase, because once quotation is created, we are ready for proceeding further to contracts, right, or the order. So we do some sort of project planning which is internal process, and after that we create project contracts. The project contracts are created from the quotation, right? And once the project contract is created, we allocate our resource to a project, and the time and expenses will be recorded for these projects once the resource is added. Now time and expenses means how many times the resource has given for the project, what are the expenses you have done for a project to be deliverable. So after that we have invoices. We generate invoices, whether it is monthly or we have to define the billing frequency or invoice frequency, so that we can bill to customer for that cost, right? So these are all terminologies and life cycle. So we will discuss in details one by one concept in our next videos. So let us understand a case study, because when we are trying to work on a module of whether it is PSA or whether it is field service, it is always best practice to take an example or a real world scenario or case study, so that it will be clear. Let us say there is a customer, and the customer wants two things. One is he wants 25 license of Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement user license, and also the customer wants to implement this CRM or Customer Engagement product in his own business to manage customers in their own environment, right? So that means it requires two things. One is product that requires 5 licenses. Next is project, the same product to be implemented for his own benefits, for his own company, right? That means this requires two things, not at all only products like sales module. It requires product to sell plus the project to implement the product, right? So once this project and product is identified, we have to define resources, right? Because product selling is okay, right? You add a product to your quotation line and the process is very simple and straightforward. But what about projects? Project requires many project planning. Like first we have to define the resources who will work on the project. In real world, when you work on a software industry, you have to be allocated for a project so that you can start working on that project, right? Like that, first is setting up the resources. What are the resources? Who are the bookable resources? Whether the users entity will be used for resources or contacts will be used for resources or generic users, like that. So we have to identify the resources. Then we have to identify the roles. What are the roles? Let's say there is a resource who know Blue Prism or UiPath. He doesn't know Dynamics. Then I cannot ask that resource to work on this project. Like that, we have to identify the roles, skills, and resources with cost price. What is the price per hour for that resource? Then what is the sales price? Cost price and sales price is different, right? Cost price is something that you decide in the project level, right? But in the sales price or the organization level, for the sales price is something, the price that you charge for a customer, right? Then you can define the revenue, right? So cost price is project based or the organization based, but sales price is customer based. When you create an account as a customer, then you associate the sales price for that project, right? So we have to define these resources, skills, and roles and all that. Let us understand we have 3 roles required for this implementation. One is project manager, one is developer, and another is business analyst, right? And the price for project manager is $50 per hour, developer $40 per hour, and business analyst $30 per hour. Let's say project manager name is Atul Kumar, business analyst is Amit Jain, and developer is Arun Roy, right? So I deliver products and project implementation for my customer. So let us understand these 3 resources I need. So these resources may be my contacts, may be my users, licensed users, or maybe my employees, right? So I need these 3 resources, right, for this project. Also the product is required, the license is required. I may purchase from Microsoft, or if I am a partner of Microsoft, then I can purchase for that customer. Likewise, next we have to create the contract, right? Once the project is associated with the contract, then we have to define the quotation, contract, invoicing, many things are there, right? So let's say this is my case study. We need to sell a product of 5 licenses of Dynamics 365 CE or CRM, and then we have to implement the project for that same customer, which requires a project planning, right? So let us see how we can build this in our PSA module. So first we will see how to set up organization units. Organization units in a business are those departments or branches that deal with a project. Your company might have different organization units, so that one organization unit covers some customers, another organization unit covers different customers, like that. So these organization units are those contracting units who deal with the project. So you might have multiple organization units, or you can have only one organization units as per the size of your business. Now let us start with setting up a organization units which are required for project service automation, right? So first of all, go to office.com, and you already know how to subscribe trial version of Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement. And if you don't know, I have already created a video, you can go through. I will give you the link in the video or description. Now if you go here, once you log in office.com, you will see all apps are available here. Now click on Power Apps. or you can directly log into make.powerapps.com and choose your environment, as you have already taken subscription. As I have chosen this development as environment, once it is selected, you can go to apps, and in this apps area you will see different types of model driven apps available, which are part of Dynamics 365 customer engagement, right? Now sales hub, resource scheduling, right, field service, omnichannel customer service. Now the app that we are concerned, or we are going to discuss, is project service. So open this project service. Once you open this project service, it will open the model driven app whose name is project service. And this project service model driven app is used to manage all project requirements or project related concepts, right? Now the first thing is we have to set up an organization. If you see in this app, in the area you will find there are 5 areas available, right? One is project. This area covers all the sub areas which are associating to projects, project templates, schedule boards, resource utilization, resource and roles, and also expenses and time entries. And if you go to resources, you will see the resource area. Here you can create resources, you can book a resource using schedule board, you can define utilization of resources. Utilization means how much the resource can be utilized, whether it is full 100% full capacity, or you can take 50% of the utilization of the resource. Like that, what are the requirements, bookings, requests, roles, skills, right? Roles means which role is required for implementing a project, right? If you are implementing a Dynamics CRM, then Dynamics CRM role is required, developer role, BA role, and project manager roles, like that. Like skills, so we have to configure all of these. Proficiency model is the whether the resource you are hiring is a proficient in Dynamics or he is a beginner, like that. So all these things we have to configure. In sales, you will see customers, contacts, products, price list, right? These are the price lists that you can configure here. And then leads, opportunities, all these are related to sales collateral concept, right? Because as I have told you, project service automation starts with a customer, right? That's why it is in the sales area, it is given all these things, opportunity, quote, and this is the order whose name is project contract. Then other helpful concepts of PSA. This is invoices also available, and the settings also there are some options available, like organization units, transaction categories, expense categories, right? So we'll see one by one. So first we will see how to configure organization units, because that is the main thing in Dynamics 365 PSA. So we will go here in the settings first, and here you will see organization settings. You might have multiple organization units for your company, for your organization, but you have to create your own organization as per your company name, right? Let's say my company name is Big Deal, right? So I'll click on new, and I will give a name of my company organization unit. Let's say Big Deal organization unit, right? Now once I have given the name, you can define the description. I can give the same name here, and you have to choose the currency. This currency is important because whatever currency you will choose here in this organization units, that will be used for dealing with invoices, right? So let us use United States USD, right? US dollar. That means this organizational unit of my company is dealing with US dollars. So any customer that are coming from US or any country or any location who the customer who deals with US dollar, then this business unit or this organization unit is better to deal with, right? Organization unit and business units are different, right? So do not mix it up. So click on save. Once you have chosen this currency, you can go to, you have to add some cost prices. As I have told you, every concept, whether it is product or whether it is project, is defined through some price list, right? This cost price is associated with this organization unit, and sales price is associated with customer. Now let us create some cost price and sales price for my company. Now go to sales area, and here we will see price list, right? And you will find there are some existing price list available, right? Now let me create my own cost price list. Give a name, let's say big deal cost price list, and choose whether it is sale or cost, right? This defines whether the price list is cost price list or sales price list or purchase price list. Cost price list is used whenever you want to use the price list for your organization, right? But organization unit. But when you want to sell the project, sell the product or sell the project to your account, to your customer, then you use sales price list. For example, let's say you are having a resource, you are having a Dynamics resource whose per hour rate is $30. So the cost price may be $30. But when you actually sell to a customer, the per hour price may be the sales price list, right? That's how your profit is happened, right? Now this purchase is used whenever you purchase or you hire some resources from external staffing company, and that purchase price will be used whenever you purchase something from another company and you are delivering that purchased resource to your customer, right? That's why there are three contexts. Let us use cost first. You can define the start date and end date of this cost price, right? So if you keep it blank, it will be, there is no expiring concept of this cost price. So keep it blank. I don't want any date fixed, and the time is hour. Now click on save. You can provide the description here. Save. Right now, once it is done, you can define some role prices. I'll come to that role prices. Okay, first we have to define some roles, then we can define the role prices, right? So let us define the first price list role price, and you have to define some price list item, right? I will come to that part price list item in a short while. Let us create another cost price, another sales price. Cost price is done. I will create a big deal sales price, right? Now the context will be sales. Start date and date I will keep it blank and save it, right? Now I can go here and go here to the project, go to the settings and organization units, open the big deal organization unit and associate the cost price here, right? So associate, add existing price list, choose the big deal cost price list. Now it is associated. Always remember the currency should be same. The price list currency and the organization unit currency should be same, otherwise it will throw error. Once you have chosen the price list, you can go to scheduling and define some latitude longitude of your organization unit location, but it doesn't matter right now, so skip it for now. So the organization unit is created, right? And also we have created some price list. One is for sales price list, another is for cost price list. Now I will go to sales and create a product, right? The product is for Dynamics 365 CE, because the use case is I want to sell 5 license of Dynamics 365 project. So I will go to create new product and give a name Dynamics 365 CE license, right? Product ID I can define CE. I don't have any parent product right now. I'll keep it valid from and to blank. Description I can give here, and I can use unit group, let's say default unit group, and the default unit is primary unit, and I can give the decimal support to, and subject, I don't need subject, let us save it. Once you save this product, you can define product properties also, but keep it blank. I don't want any product properties, but if you want, you can add it, because this product setup is not part of this current course. So once you define this product, the next thing is you have to define the once the product is defined, you have to associate the price list. Which price list should be associated with this product? You have to decide. It is big deal sales price list, right? That means whenever you use this price list, then the price list will be the price that is configured for this product will be calculated. So this is the default price list, but you can change it always. Click on save. Now once this product is added, I want to add this product price in my price list. So go to price list and open the price list. First let us open the cost price list and go to price list item and click on new price list item. I want to define per user license cost. I'll define the product, right? So the product is CE license, but let me activate that product first, otherwise it will not be usable. So click on this and click on publish. So as per the requirement, I have to create a Dynamics 365 product first, license product. So I'll go to price list and add the corresponding prices, right? So my price list are two price list: big deal cost price list, sales price list. I will open cost price list. And what is the cost of this? I want to define the cost price list as, go to price list item, click on new price list, and here I will define the product. This product I have created right now, and I'll go to price information and write down the amount. What is my amount? The amount is, let's say, $20, right? Now I can click on save. So I have defined the cost of this Dynamics 365 per user license is $20, right? So what is the price list? The price list is big deal cost price list. Now save and close. Now I can go to another price list that is called a sales price list, and I'll go to price list item. Here I will add a new price list item, the same product, and this time I will use the sales price as $40, because I want to sell the product in $40 user license per user. So save and close. Now we have defined this 40, right? So we have defined two price list. One is cost price list, another is sales price list, and I have also associated the product prices for both price list, right? So this is how you set up a organizational unit and set up the currency and cost price and sales price accordingly, right? You go to here in the project settings, again validate the organizational unit, the cost price is associated, and that's all for this video. So we will meet in the next video for next topic. Now we will discuss how calendar template works. Calendar template is nothing but the working hour for resources, right? So first you have to define the calendar templates. So go to in the settings and click on calendar templates. In the calendar templates, you have to define your own template, calendar template or work hour templates for resources. Click on new and give a name. Let's say big deal calendar template. Okay. Now I want to define a calendar template, description on this one, and click on save. Now you can associate a template resource for this calendar template, right? So before assigning, so once it is created, you can associate a template, but now do not associate any template resource, because we will do that in later part when we will discuss about resources. But you can define always a template for a resources, so that the template will define the work hour for that resource, right? So we'll see in the next video what about the next point. Now the most important thing in PSA or field service both is configuring resources. Resources are those users or those persons who are actually working on the projects. So as because project service automation is a part of Dynamics 365 family which deals with implementing projects, so always it requires resources to implement some project. So we will see how we can configure resources for our project, right? So first let us go here and create some resources. Go to settings and go to resources. Before going to resources, first create some proficiency model. Okay, let us go here, because before creating resources we have to define some skills that is required for our project, and also proficiency model. Proficiency models, if you see, there are some proficiency model available. By default you can create proficiency models for skills or none, right? Skills is skills entity. Let me create a new proficiency model, or you can also change this proficiency model for your project. If you want to have so you can only have one skill related proficiency model in your project, right? Let me make it generic, right? Let's say rating. Okay, I'm just changing this as rating, standard rating or standard proficiency. So what does it mean? It means that I can change the ownership as myself. So I can define a proficiency model for a skill, like whether a resource is good at that skill, or familiar at that skill, or proficiency at that skill, right? Now if you want to define more, you can click on here new rating and you can add more. Click on save. So I have added standard proficiency, and by default 3 concepts are there, right? One is good, familiar, and proficient. But if you want, you can add a new rating. Let's say click on new rating, you can add here, let's say beginner. And what is the value? I can define 1. But if I will define 1, you will see the proficient value will be not saved, because there is a value with 1 rating is there. So you just open this and change this title as beginner, right? Now you can define the default rating or not, because whenever you assign a skill to a resource, the default will be the default value that you have assigned will be assigned to the resource, right? So let us first use beginner. Click on save and close, and open the second one. I don't want to make it default, and this is intermediate, right? And I don't want to make it default. Click on save and close. And the last one is expert, and I also don't want to make it its default. So I have to make a rating default. Let me make this beginner as default, so I can make it yes, and save and close. Now I have defined my proficiency model, standard proficiency model for skills. Now I will go to skills and create some skills. Click on new. What skill I require? Because the case study is telling me that I have to implement Dynamics 365 customer engagement project for a customer, so I need to have the resources to be skilled in Dynamics 365 sales module, or I mean in Dynamics 365 CRM, right? So I have to define a skill here, Dynamics 365 CE, and you can define, you know, technical consultant or functional consultants. It's for your need. So keep it only Dynamics 365 CE, and you can define the skill description here, and you can define whether it is skill or certification. For some projects, let's say your customer wants that only the certified employees or certified resources on Dynamics 365 should work on that project, then you have to hire some certified certified resources, right? So keep it a skill. Now click on save. Okay, so this skill is required, right? Now click on save and close. So I have created a skill and created a proficiency model. So I'll click on roles. Then I have to define some roles for Dynamics 365. Click on new and define a role. Let's say project manager, and give description. What is the target utilization? Target utilization is defined whenever you are implementing a project. What should be the utilization, how you can utilize the project manager, whether it is 100% utilization or it is 50% utilization, you can define here. Let's say I want 75% utilization of this project manager role. You can define here whether the project manager is chargeable or non-chargeable or complimentary or not available. I want to make it chargeable. Now click on save. Now when I have defined this project manager, it is telling that the resource category name must be unique. Why it is telling? Because already project manager is available. So I can define project manager. Either I can open the project manager which is already available, created in the system. I will go to project manager already created for some other projects. I can use this project manager role for my skill, right? Otherwise I can define my own role. Let me go here and define a unique role, project manager D365, and define the and target utilization, let's say 75%, and billing time chargeable. Save. Now this project manager is created. I have to add the proficiency or the new role competency for this role, right? So click on new role competency. So for my project, this project manager should be intermediate in Dynamics 365. So I will use Dynamics 365 and proficiency model is intermediate. I don't need the project manager should be expert, right? Now you can see once I have added, the name field is blank. So just open this and give a name here. Project manager level of D365. Just give a name just for understanding, right? Because it is blank, that's why I have given a name. So I have associated the skill with the rating for this role, right? I can also add some new role competency. You can search here, let's say project manager, project management, right? Project management is a skill which is required for every project manager. So I can define the project manager proficiency as expert. He should be expert project manager, right? So I can define here expert project manager, right? And save and close. So for my project, it requires a project manager whose skill is he should be expert in project management and should have intermediate knowledge in Dynamics 365. So first role is done, right? Till now I have not created any resource. I am just working on resource assignment, right? Next is I have to create another role. The role is, because 3 roles are required here. If you go here, you can see 3 roles: project manager, business analyst, developer, right? So I'll go here and create another business analyst D365. You can define the same thing here. Utilization 100%, billing time chargeable. Save. And here I want to add competency. What is the competency? The business analyst should be expert, or should be I want expert business analyst, so he should be well aware of or expert in Dynamics 365. Again update the name of this role competency profile. Right, again I want to add another role. Another role is, let's say, click on this and let me show some business analyst, like is there any skill that is created for business analyst? If it is not created, you can create your own skill, otherwise you can associate any other role. Right, let me create a new characteristics or new skill, business analyst, and description business analyst, and this is a skill. So click on save and close. Now I can define business analyst as a skill, and he should be expert in business analyzing or analyst. So I can define expert in business analyst, now I have defined a business analyst resource. Next I have to define a developer, right? So developer D365, and here I will define target relation 100%, billing chargeable, and save. Again I will add new competency here. The skill is Dynamics 365 and proficiency should be expert. Save and close. That's all. I don't want any other role association. Expert in D365 and save and close. Right, so what I have done, I have created some skills. Right, what is the skill? I have created Dynamics 365 CE skill. Another is PM skill is already there, project management skill, and I have created another role, another skill called as business analyst. And I have used proficiency model to map skills with role. So if I'll go to here, you can see developer role I have created, developer D365, and associated the roles and skills. Like that I have created business analyst D365, and also I have created project manager D365. Right, so after this concept, after this configuration, we have to define the resources. Go to resources and create a resource. Click on new. You can define a resource of type, whether it is a user or whether it is a contact or equipment, account, crew, facility, and pool. Right, crew means a multiple resources can be created and added to a crew. Right, now let's say I want to create some contacts and I want to use that contacts as a resource. Right, let's say you have some contractual employees and you want to store in contact entity, then you can use it. Otherwise you can use user. Let me use user. For example, I want to create 3 resources. One is for PM, another is for developer, another is for business analyst. Right, let me go here and change the check my users. I'll go here to the office.com and check the users. How many users are there in my organization? So I'll go here to the admin, and in the admin I will go to users area. Right, so in the users area you will see there are some users which are called as enabled users, active users, and I have these users available here. Okay, now let me change the name, something like I need 3 resources. One is project manager Atul Kumar, so I'll go here and update the name. Let me click on or I can add new users. If I want to edit it, I can edit. No, not this one. Create new user. Okay, I want to use Atul. How to use resources? Atul Kumar, and the name is Atul. Okay, and I want to give a password of my choice, and next, and define the product license because they need to work on the project. So click on next, next, and next. So I have created this user here. Next, I have not associated any role till now, so I will add another user. The next user is business analyst Amit Jain. Amit. I will give a password for that user and give license. Finish. So I'm just creating 3 users. I have not added any roles till now. The next user is developer Arun Roy. So I'll go here. Same way I will assign the product license and click on finish adding. Now I have created 3 users. I want to assign these 3 users as developers, right? So I'll go here and choose the user here. I can search the user. The first user is Atul Kumar. So I'll search here Atul. No records found. Why no records found? Because we have to, once you create the users in Office 365 admin, you have to add these users in your Power Platform. Now go here and in the Power Apps, and you have to go to admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. Open the environment where you want to add those users. So you have to add the 3 newly created users in your environment so that you can use those users as a resource in project service automation. Now this will represent the list of environments that you are working with. Click on the environment. I'm using development, so click on settings. Then you have to click on users, right? Now click on users permissions. Click on users. Now these are the users, right? Already added. Now I want to add new user. First user is Atul. So I'll use search Atul here and click on add. As soon as you click add, it will ask you to provide a security role for that user, and this security role is part of your current environment or current Dynamics 365, right? So give a user security role at this point. Let me add this as a sales user. I will go to here. I can define project manager also, right? But if there is any developer you have created, you can assign here. But this role, these roles are security roles for your Dynamics 365. So doesn't matter right now. Let me choose salesperson. Click on save and click on add user. And next is what is the next resource? It is Amit Jain. Again choose the role. The role is, let's say, sales user, salesperson. Save. And next add another user. Another is Arun Roy. So add. So keep adding those resources, those users who will be used as a resource in your project service automation, and define proper security role as per your need. I'm just assigning sales user for all users. Okay, I have added here. Now I'll go here and search the user here. First is Atul. So I'll search Atul. Now this Atul Kumar is displayed here. I can choose this. Name is automatically identified and I can save it. Right. Now once you save it, you have to define the other details of your requirement like project service. Go to project service and define the utilization for this resource. What is the utilization? The utilization, let's say I want 80% of this, or this is a project manager, so I need 100%, right? And what is the resource skill mapping of this resource? I have to define here, right? So click on new, or click on new bookable resource. So what is the role first you have to define? This resource you have defined means this is a project manager, right? So you have to define the new bookable resource category, and you can define the category is project manager, and you can define here project manager. So this is the bookable resource category assignment, right? And I can define new resource skill. This is resource role mapping, and this is resource skill mapping. So click on new bookable resource, and what is the skill name? The skill name is project manager. Skill name is project manager, project manager. And who is the user? User is the Atul Kumar. And what is the rating? The rating is he is an expert, right? So I can define the I have mapped this user resource as a project manager for Dynamics 365, and his skill is project management expert, right? Also I want to add another skill name. The skill name is Dynamics 365 and expert in, so this is intermediate. Click save and close. I have mapped it, right? Now I don't want to add any other things for the Atul Kumar, who is a project manager, right? Now I can define some other things. If you want to schedule this resource, you have to define this is used for field service, so ignore this. You can define the organizational unit. This is important because if you choose your organization, then only you can book this resource for your organization unit. Now I have chosen organization unit as big deal organization unit, right? Now enable availability search, yes. Display on schedule board, yes, right, because I want to book it, right? Now once it is defined, you can click on save. Every bookable resource or every resource that is required to book for a project should have a proper work hour, right, configured. So click on work hour and click on show work hours, right? The show work hours will give you, if you click on show work hours, it will give you the details daily basis, or monthly basis or daily basis working hour for this resource. You can configure as per your own, right? Let's say you want to configure a new working hour for this resource. So click on this working hour, add new working hour. Here I want to define from today. You have hired this customer today, this user today. So from 16th to I want to define if I want to define every day from 16th to next month up to December 31st, up to 77 days, all day he will work, then you have to define like this. But I don't want to define like this, so I want to define every day from 16th he will work from 8 to 5 p.m. or I can define 9 to 6, right? If you want to add some break, you can add some break. Let's say from 1:30 to 2 p.m. he needs a break, so you can define like this and you can save it, right? And if you want to add something like, let's say you want to only assign the resource for 24 hours, then you can click on this and click on working hour, and you can change it to something all day, this to this, then you can save it. That means the customer or the resource or the user will work the all day for this month, right? If you want to define any specific day configuration, you can choose any day specific configuration. Let's say on Tuesday or Sunday he doesn't work, so you click on new non-working hours. You can define the non-working hours. Let's say Sunday, all day is not working hours, so click on save. Now you can see here on the Sunday he is not working. So like that you have to configure the working hours for the resources as per your need, right? Now you can also add some time off. If the resource is having some holiday or time off or leave, then you can configure here. Now this will ensure that the availability of the resource or the working hour of the resource, right? So you have to do it for all resources that you have added. So I have added one resource for project manager. I'll keep adding different resources. Next is Amit Jain is the let me save it, and I'll go to project service. I will first associate as a business analyst, and the resource category is business analyst D365. Save and close. Right, now I can click on new bookable resource characteristics. What is the skill? He is a business analyst. Rating is expert. Save and close. Again I want to add another bookable resource. Skill is Dynamics 365 and he should be expert in Dynamics 365. Target utilization is 100%. I can save it. Right, I can again go to scheduling and check if it is used current organization unit or not. I will update this. Again I will go to work hours or click on show work hours, and the work hours is defined already 5 to 5:32. So it is defining the timing edge 5:30 AM to Sunday, right? Now I can change it. Once I will click this, I can edit this only event, or I can also change for other days also. If I want to update the all events in this series, click on this all event and I can update here, right? Let's say he is working from today, working from let's say 2021, and it should be let's say 16. So from today he will be working every week and from Monday to Friday, right? And the timing is from morning 9 AM to 6 PM, sorry. You can define that, right? You can add a break also if you want. So like that you can keep adding the timing of the work hours for that customer or for that user, right? And you can also define the coordinate, or you can define the time zone of this customer or the resource that is working, right? If there is any business closure that needs to be observed, click on the business closure. Then the business closure defined will be observed by the resource. Now once it is defined, this will be updated perfectly, right? Now I can define a new working hour. Let's say from today he will be working from, I can save it, and if I will update the working hour all day from today to not September, it is, let's say October, today to December 31st, and I will click on save. Now all the calendar will be updated accordingly, right? From today onwards you will be working. Now click on save and close. Like that, I will add another resource. Click on new. Another resource is Arun, and save it, and click on project service. Associate the role. The first role is developer, and resource category is developer. Save and close. Now new bookable resource, and the rating is expert, right? So the developer should be expert in Dynamics 365. Utilization is, let's say, 100%. Save. I'll go to scheduling and update the organizational unit as big deal. Save. Again, I will update the work hour, right? I can click on show work hours, right? And I can also click on edit all the events in the series. You can see he's working every week, Sunday to Monday, Sunday to Saturday. I can switch off this Sunday and Saturday and click on save. Then all Sunday and Saturday will be off, right? Now the point here is, let's say once the work hour completed, we are okay with the configuration of resources, right? So in our next video we will discuss another topic, how to configure cost price and sales price. And we have already seen how cost price and sales price of the role. Okay, we have not discussed about the role price. We will discuss that role price in our next video. So the role price is used to define a resource cost per hour, right? As we have defined 3 resources for our project, we have to define the cost per hour. So how to define that? So go to the sales and go to price list, and in the price list we will see the price list we have created, big deal price list. Open this cost price list and go to roles price. In the roles price, I have to associate a role. Click on new role price. I have already associated a price list for product. Now I want to associate a role. Project manager, Dynamics 365, resource unit is big deal, and price is, let's say, $60 per hour. Timing is per hour. Click on save and close. I can define here, I can check here whatever I have defined. So project manager 50 per hour, developer 40, business analyst 30. So let me change this again. I have updated 60, I have to update 50. Let us follow this Excel sheet, the chart here. Project manager 50, so I will update 50 here, right? So this is the cost price. Again I will add another role price. It's a business analyst, and the cost is 30. Same resourcing unit, and then developer 40. So I'll add another role price, resourcing unit, and it is 40. So I have defined the cost price list of this resources and per hour. I can define the same prices, role prices, with a different value for the sales price. This is cost price list. So I can go to here and the big deal sales price, sorry, this is big deal sales price list. I can go to again role price and define the same resources. First project manager, and the price per is 50. Now let make it double, 100. Click on save and close. Add another, it is business analyst, resourcing unit, and it is, let's say, 60. Now what is that? It is 30, so make it 60. So I'm just making double of this cost price. So I'm trying to add another for developer and resourcing unit, and it is 80, right? So I've successfully defined role prices for the price list and for these roles that I require for the project implementation. We have already seen how price list works for that project, right? Okay, So in our next video we'll see the next part. Next part is how to configure invoice frequency. Invoice frequency is defined in project service automation to decide in which frequency you want to bill to the customer for invoicing, right? In Dynamics 365 project service automation, if you go to this settings, and you will see there is a section called as invoice frequencies. In the invoice frequencies, you have to define your own invoicing frequency method. Let me click on new and give a name, big deal invoice frequency, right? And you have to define the period of your frequency, whether you want to monthly invoice or weekly invoice or bi-weekly invoice. Let us use weekly invoice. Once you choose weekly invoice, you can define the which day of your week you want to be invoiced. By default it is Monday. I can define it as Friday as per your choice, right? So it depends on your business that how you want to bill to the customer. Let's say I want to bill only on Friday, so I can define every Friday, right? So save and close. So I've defined it is every Friday, weekly basis. Now click on save and close, right? So this is how you can define invoice frequencies for any project based implementation. In our next concept, we will see how we can configure opportunities, quotes and quotation lines for project service automation. For every project based assignments or PSA concept or any project implementation, it requires an opportunity, then you create a quotation, then the quotation line is used, right? In sales module also you have seen, when a customer is interested for a product, you create an opportunity first, then you create quotation, then order, and goes on, right? Like that for project based implementation also you create opportunity first. So go to Dynamics 365 PSA and go to sales area. First you define a customer, right? Customer is nothing but an account or an organization to which you want to bill or you want to implement the project. Let's say the customer name is, let's say the customer that requires Dynamics implementation name is small deal business, and this is the account or the company who needs to implement Dynamics project, and that project will be implemented by big deal company, right? Which is my company, for example. Now you can give the phone number and whatever facts if you have, then you provide the other details that you have, right? If there is any parent company, you can give here. You can define relationship as customer. What is the product price list? Here is the thing, right? Here you have to define the product price list as sales price. As I have told you, cost price is used for project level or organization level, and sales price is used for account level or customer level. Now you can define a address of this customer. Let me search California sample address, for example. Just for a sample address, I just want to keep it here. Okay, sorry, random address of California. Let me copy this and I can go here and put it here. I can define this California street 2, okay, and zip code. I can define zip code, this one, sorry, zip code. Just I am giving some information. Click on done. Now the address is done here. I can click on save. Now the customer is created with the product price list associated with it, right? Now the next thing is I have to define whether the annual revenue is, how much the annual revenue for that customer, what is the number of employees. Okay, it is not mandatory, but you can give for better reporting. Next, you have to create some contacts so that you can deal with those contacts of this company for any communications, right? So you can go here and add some contacts. Click on new contacts. Let me give a name of the contact, small deal employee 1. Okay, let me use something sensible. Let's say Robert Hook, who is the employee of this account. So I can save and close. I can also add another contact, new contact. Let's say I want to add Greg and Greg Jamie, for example, and save and close. So I have added 2 contacts for this organization, for this customer already there. Let me change the name, Robert, for example, Robert Jamie, and save and close. If the same customer is already exist, it will give you that there is already a customer exist. Okay, let me change the phone number and save it. Now 2 customer is added, 2 contact is added to this account as a customer. Now you have to select who is the primary contact that you always deal with, right? I can define the primary contact here and save it. Once you define this, you can click on project price list. This project price list will define, let me go back here. You can also go to details to add different concepts like what is the industry the customer is dealing with, what is the SIS code, who is the ownership, whether it is public, private or subsidiary. These are called as for reporting purpose, right? You can define credit hold, payment term, right? And if you want to go to project service list, you can add new project price list, but it is not required right now, right? Because you have not created any project price list now, so keep it as it is. Now once this customer is created, once this customer whose name is small deal business is created, I will go to quotation to create a new quotation or new opportunity, because the because once the customer is created, it's because I want to implement the project, I have to create an opportunity. Click on new and give a topic. Let's say the topic is D365 CE implementation. D365 CE implementation and 5 license, right? So this is the project all about. So I can define the customer is Robert Hook, and which is the account is chosen, which is the contracting unit is our big deal organization unit. I can define the purchase timeline, let's say immediate, and what is the currency you are dealing with, US dollar. Product price, what is the product price list? I want to use product price list as big deal sales price list. So whatever price that has been configured in the price list, sales price list for that product, that will be only used. Revenue, you can define user provided or system calculated. And what is the budget amount? Let's say the budget amount is $70,000, and probability 90% probability of this opportunity. There is a individual, right? So you can define all necessary details about the opportunity, which will be better to analyze or close the opportunity as soon as possible, right? Now you can define here what is the estimated close date. Estimated close date is let's say 31st, right? Within 1 week it will be closed. You can define also what is the sales team, who is the salesperson working for this opportunity, right? You can define a new connection. Let's say you can define a user, for example. Let's say I am the sales user, so I can search, I can assign myself. So I am the sales team user, so I am the salesperson for this project, right? So for opportunity. Now I can define the stakeholders also. What is the role of this Robert Hook? You can define here whether he is a decision maker or whether he is a champion or influencer, whatever you can decide here, and you can keep adding stakeholders as per your need, because every opportunity requires some stakeholders who take decisions. Once it is done, go to opportunity line. Here you will see two things. One is project based lines, product based lines. Because this project service implementation requires two things, one is product and another is project implementation, I'll go here first use products. Which product the customer is interested in, I'll go to add new product based opportunity and choose the product. So this is the opportunity. What is the product? Choose existing product. I have already a product created. The product is Dynamics 365 license, right? So how many license the customer requires? They requires the quantity is 5. Now you can see this is the sales price is 40 because you have used the sales price list, that's why it is 40, and the quantity is 5 license. Now click on save and close. Once you click on save and close, the opportunity price will be changed to $200, right? Because 5 license, so the price will be updated accordingly. Now it is saving the opportunity record, opportunity line. Next I have to add a project based opportunity line, because we need also implementation, right? Can you see that the estimated revenue is updated accordingly as per this project based product based line, right? And the total amount is displayed here. Next I want to add a project based line, so click on new opportunity, add new opportunity line. This time the product type is project based, right? And what is the name? Give a name, D365 project implementation, and define a customer budget. Let's say the customer budget is only 500k, right? And I can define the billing, whether you want to work on this project based as a time and T&M or fixed project. You can define fixed project or you can define time and material. Normally in this support projects we use time and material, and for development projects we use fixed price project. You can use it as per your choice. Click on save and close, right? Now I have defined the I have associated the project implementation whose budget is 500k. Now this budget is not identified at this point, because whenever we add resources to this project, then only the actual budget will be identified, right? So once it is done, I can click on save and add a quotation. The opportunity is done, right? I can click on quote and create a new quotation. And in the new quotation form, I can associate different types of projects for the project service or project based quotation lines, right? And you can see here, this is the quotation created for me and everything is updated here. This is the quotation ID and this is the name of this opportunity, potential customer, account, right? Account manager, contracting unit, opportunity, and what is the requested delivery date. Let's say the delivery date is December 31st, right? The project delivery date. And quotation expires, I don't want any quotation expiry date, but you can give it also as per your need, and you can give some descriptions and some addresses as per your need. You can check the quote analysis, what is the gross margin, profit, okay? And this thing will be updated in a short while, right? Because you have not associated any projects. Go to quotation line. In the quotation line, you can see this is project based and this is product based. If you want to add some expenses into this project based lines, because this is T&M or time and material project, but what if you have some expenses? Let's say you have some airfare expenses or hotel stay expenses for this project. You have traveled some on site and for project requirement, right? And it is required to track the expenses also for that project. So you can click on add new quote line here and you can define your details, right? Let's say it is project based. I want to define project expenses And billing method, it is fixed price because every expenses are fixed, right? So I can define a project here, but I have not yet created any project. I will do that. So this expenses requires to include, it does not include any time, right? It will include expenses, it will include fees, right? So what is the quoted amount? You can define the budget. Let's say customer only want 6,000 as a fixed price. The customer can pay only 6,000 for expenses. Then you can define this and you can save and close, right? Now once you saved and closed, you can define this is added here, this including no time, and this is including time because this is time and material. Once it is defined, you can click on export to PDF and you can share this quotation to the customer for payment. But before that, you have to always take a look of your projects. You can see here, this is your so this is the quotation, but now it is not yet completed, right? Now what is our next stage? The next stage is you have to associate some projects to this. The product is okay because you have associated this product, that is okay, and price is finalized as $200. But what about this time and material? We need to configure a project. So in our next video we'll configure the project so that we can associate to a quote line, right? So let us see how to configure projects. So now we have to create some projects because of the project implementation, because this is the core thing of PSA, right? So first we will create a project template. So go to area projects, and the projects, go to project template. You can define a new project without a template, but template is used to streamline the project deliveries in different project deliverable contracting units, right? Let me create a new template, and this template will be used whenever I will deliver any Dynamics 365 CE implementation for customers, right? So I can use this template so that I do not need to again every time I have to design the project. So give a name D365 CE project delivery template, or project IMPL template. Now give the description, keep the same, and you can define your work hour template. I can define my work hour template, big deal calendar template, US dollar currency. What is the contracting unit? The contracting unit is big deal organization. Click on save. And the estimated start date and estimated finish date, you know that estimated finish start date is, let's say, today, and finish date estimation is, let's say, December 31st. We don't know estimated hours, so save it. Now once you have saved it, you have to go to schedule. The schedule is important. Every project should have a schedule, when it will be completed and what are the stages that we have to follow, right? So first is the project name is Dynamics 365 project implementation template. What is the duration? The duration is 55 days because it starts from today and it ends with 31st December. That means we have only approximately 3 months to implement the project. So in these 3 months, what are your schedule, or what is your work-based schedule that you want to deliver, right? The first is requirement analysis, right? So click on add and provide a task. Let's say requirement analysis. So first page is requirement analysis. Then you want to add design. Next you want to add coding or design and development. Next you want to add testing, then implementation, right? So with this 55 days, total 55 days, right? Now in the 55 days, first requirement analysis will take how many days? it will start from today and it will end on 23rd or 22. So how many days it will take? It will take 5 days. Next, what is the design time it will take? So requirement analysis, if you want to add any sub processes, then you can also add. Let's say inside testing you want to add different types of testing, like let's say I want to add, click on add, just change this step to performance testing, and you can just click this and click on indent. Now this will be changed, click on indent. Now this part will be a sub part of testing page, right? Now you can keep adding different types of sub processes of a parent process. Now for requirement analysis it will take 5 days. So what is the effort? 40 days or 40 hours effort, right? Because every day we work for 8 hours. And for design, let's say it will start from 22 or 23rd and it will end. So design will take more time, so it will take, let's say, on 6th, right? So the design will start from 25th, no, not 25th, it should be, let's say, 23rd, and it will end in 27. Okay, sorry, it is 26, no, just change it to something 20, it will be 30. Okay, so the requirement analysis will take 5 days and the design will take 6 days, right? Then what is the development? Development time will take more time, so it will start from let's say from November 2 and will end on November 30. So it will take 21 days to complete. Why it is 21 days? Because Saturday, Sunday is not counted, right? Next, testing. So you cannot define the date here in the parent, so you have to change it to the child. So go to here. So the testing will be start from December and end in December 15 or December 30, December 29. So it will take 21 days for testing also. Development 21 days, testing 21 days. And for implementation, go live it will take 2 days. So I will take December 31st, December 32, 31st. Now completely 55 days I have configured. So this is the job of project management or PSA consultant who will configure this. Once you define this, you have to define the resources in every phase, right? In the requirement phase, you have to define which resources are required. It requires two things. One is business analyst, another is project manager. So now there is no resources, you have to click on create. Now create a resource. First is project manager, PM D365. Which role you require? You require project manager. And big deal organization unit 7 close. Again I want another resource which is business analyst, BA D365. So choose which role? Business analyst 7 close. So at requirement analysis I don't want business developer, right? Now once this is done, I want in design page. In the design page I want only BA and I want to add developer also. I don't need project manager. Okay, I need project manager also, so I can choose project manager also. And for development only BA is required, only developer is required. I don't need more people. For testing I need a tester, but for now this project will be tested by developer. Normally there should be test users, but I can use the same developers time for testing. And for go live, it will require all users time. Now I have added all required users for this project. Now click on save. Now this will be used as a template whenever I will implement any Dynamics 365 project, right? Now I have added it. Now okay, let me change this to 31st because yeah, now it is 55. Now I can save it. Now I have added all resources for the different phases. Now I can go to team, and in the team you can see all this information or all these team members are and with roles are added, right? Now I can save it. Now I can go to the quotation, sales and quotation, open the quotation that is already open and associate this project. So first we have to create the project because I have created the project template. So this is the project template only I have created, right? Where I have created schedule and I have created the team is already identified, right? Now I want to create a project. So go to project and create a project. So create a new project. First choose the template. The template is this template. Name D365 project for small deal company, right? Now I can define the description here. Who is the customer? This is the customer. I can define the calendar template, US dollar. Contracting unit is the same contracting unit. Project manager. Who is the project manager? You can define the project manager. Let's say project manager is me, right? And what is the overall status? It is green, right? You can define your status whether it is yellow, red, because your project is always, you know, it's sensitive, right? If you have if you have no resources, how you can complete it? So let us keep it green and click on save. Now once you save this, all related template informations are pulled in this project. You can define the estimated start date. Let's say it is starting today and finishing by December. And what is the actual start date? Actual start date also started from today. I can save it. Now it is trying to copy the WBS. You can see that the WBS means the schedule that has been, or the schedule that has been implemented in the template, project template. Now I can click on schedule and this schedule will be copied from the template. It will take some time to update the schedule. I try to refresh. Now go to schedule. Now you can see the schedule is pulled from the project template. So what is the template we have used? We have used Dynamics 365 project deliverable templates and the timeline it is required, right? Now I have to change this timing. It is crossing to January, so let me change this to December and save it. Now it is trying to synchronize. Now once it is done, click on refresh to double check the schedule. Right now the schedule is defined. Also at the same time, if you go to teams, the team is also defined here, right? This is the project manager, but we have not assigned a resource to this project manager D365, developer D365 and business analyst D365. Automatically the generic resources are added, but I have to book the resource for this work, right? So how to book the resources? We have enabled template project and used template for the project, but we have to associate the project to the quotation line. So go here to the sales, and in the sales open the quotation that we have created. This is the quotation we have created, and every quotation line can be associated with a project if that quotation line is a project based line. So I'll go to quotation line, open the project based quotation line. This is the project based quotation line. Open this project implementation, and you will see there is a project lookup. Open the project lookup and use the project that you have created. What is the project you have created? D365 project for small deal company. Now this project has a contracting unit that is different from contracting unit. Okay, that means we have created this project where we have associated wrong contracting unit. So update this contracting unit age. So you cannot update this, so you have to delete this project. There is no other way, and create a new project. Always remember, when you create a project, use proper contracting unit, otherwise you cannot associate to a contract line, because contracting unit is very important. So this is contract line. Click on project, go to project area and click on new project. Give a name here, choose the project template. Name is D365 CE for small deal company. Okay, you can define the same thing here, customer, and here I have skipped to choose proper contracting unit. So click on Ogla status green, save. Now I have created the project, and now I can once the project is created, it will copy the WBS from the project template, right? You can define the schedule also. You can see what schedule has already been defined in the template, that will be copied here automatically. And the next thing is, you have to go to the quotation, and in the quotation I have to associate the project that I have just created with the project based line item. So go to quotation line and open the time and material quotation line, which is a project based quotation line, and associate the project. What is the project? D365 CE project for small deal company. Now it will not throw any error. Now save it. Now we have successfully associated the project with the quotation line. Now the next thing is, you have to add you can see the chargeable roles, right? You can see also any chargeable categories if you want to add in your project or quotation line, right? Like that. You can also define invoice schedule. I will tell you how it is used. Now the next thing is, we have to assign resources, right? We have associated the project to the quotation line, but we have to book the resources now. Okay, we have to accept the quotation first. So go to here in the quotation. This is our quotation, and click on accept. Close as 1. Now once you click as 1, the quotation will be deactivated as 1, and it will create a project contract, which is called as order, in your organization, and the cost will be also identified accordingly. So it will create a project contract, right? You can see this is our project contract, and the total amount is 506K for this order, and the status is both draft, right? You can update the status region as confirmed, right? You can define as confirmed here. If you want to change to confirmed, it is telling that selected contract status is invalid, use appropriate ribbon action, right? So you have to use this confirm button to change this status of the order to confirmed. So click on refresh. Let me refresh the screen. So once the order is placed or order is created, you need to confirm the order so that the work will be started by booking the resources, right? So click on confirm order, or confirming the project. Confirming the project contract means your order is confirmed, right? Now once it is confirmed, I can create invoices. But before creating invoice, let me go to associate the resources to the project. So in our next video, we'll see how to associate the resources or book the resources for the project we have created. So as the order is confirmed, I will go to the project and I will book the resources that are required. Right, so this is project contract. I will go to project. The project we have created for this project, cell is D365 implementation for small deal company. Open this project, go to teams. In the teams, you will see 4 bookable resources are there. 3 are generic and 1 is project manager. And the resourcing unit of this project manager is Fabricam, right? I can change this resourcing unit to our own organization unit that we have created, because always keep the same contracting unit for all resources that are part of your project. So I can change this to new resourcing unit, and the resourcing unit is big deal, and I can save and close. Right, now the next thing is we have to book these resources for this project. How to book these resources? There are multiple ways, but you can see here the assignment hours is already identified. 367 hours required for developer, 52 hours is required for business analyst, 51 hours required for project managers. Now the next thing is we have to book different resources that are needed for this project. So I'll go and click this generic resource for project manager first and click on generate requirement. Once you click on generate requirement, it will give you how many hours and from which date to which date this resource is required. So this is required from 8th of October to 31st of December, which requires 51 hours, right? And this is the resource requirement that is created. Next thing is I have to book a resource for this role, right? So generic resource means you have not at all assigned a resource. So I have to book this. So click on this and click on book. So click on this and click on book. So you can see here in which pages the resource will be a part of, right? Now click on book. Now when you click on book, it will display all the resources which are available for booking for this date. And that's why it is most important to configure the working hours and the resources with the role and skills in details in a proper way. You can see here the Atul Kumar is available now, right? I can click this user and click on book. I want to book this user for how many hours? I want to book this user for 51 hours, right? Now 51 hours is identified already. Already he is working 16 hours for December, November 720 hours, right? So he has sufficient hours to give to our project. So click on book. The selected date are in the past. Are you sure you want to create this booking? What is the selection I want to do? I want to do from November. So I want to do it from up to December, right? So I can choose book. I can define the start date. What is the start date? I want to book from 18th to 31st. What is the booking? Hard booking, full requirement, and book. Once you book, the resource will be booked for your project for that many hours. Can you see that 36 out of 36 hours has successfully booked for this customer, right? So this user is now booked for this project, right? Now you can define the next. Now you want to book the next resource. You can refresh it. Now you can see this is added here. This user is booked for 36 hours. But what about a rest 15 hours? Now, as because this Atul Kumar is giving only 36 hours, so it is booked for 36 hours. Why it is not booked for 36 hours, not 56 hours? Maybe we have configured the work hour for this Atul in a wrong way. That's why you have to define the work hours in properly, so that you can see here in December he is 16 hours free, but in November he is 720 hours free, right? Now I can define here what is the start date. The start date is let's say October 16 from today to December. I want December 31st, right? So I want to use Atul Kumar from 10 to 12. So click on book. Let us see if it is showing any error or not. So this way you can keep booking of different resources for your projects. Okay, it's not about project manager. You can open any resource. Let's say you want to book developer. So click on this and click on generate requirement. Once you click on generate requirement, it will generate the requirement for developer. This requires 367 hours. Now I can click this and click on book, right? Now the project manager is booked. I want to book the developer. So the developer is Arun Roy. So I can click this and I can define the date. So what is the date required? The developer date required from this is from November 19 to end date up to December 15, right? So click on book. Now it will book for developer. Like that you can keep booking different resources that are required for your project. So click on refresh. Right, now Atul is booked for this hours, and this is the project manager. Arun is booked for 152 hours. Like that you can keep adding different types of so developer requires 152. Sorry, 152 is booked, but rest 215 is rest is not booked. So what I have to do? I have to again book this. So you have to complete the booking. You cannot keep generic resources in your project. So I have to click this and again go to 16 today and up to 31st December full requirement, and I can click on book. So how work hour configuration is important. Now you can understand. If you not properly configure work hour, then you have to add more resources. Let's say the developer cannot give the total hours that you require, then you have to add more resources. Let us refresh this. Can you see that the developer can only give 216 hours from 25 to 12 25 to 25 October to 6th December, right? But what about other days? It requires 16 it requires 25 to 25 October to 31st October. Then you have to add more users or more resources, then you can book it. So once it is booked, everything is booked, you can start your project. The next thing is, once this booking is done, you have to generate invoice. How to generate invoices? You have to again go back to the quotation or order. So go to sales and click on orders or project contracts. As because we have configured the invoice frequency weekly, so it will generate your invoices weekly. So go to contract line, open the contract line, first contract, second contract line, implementation project, and in the implementation project you can go to the invoices, invoice schedule. So this is the invoice frequency. Change the invoice frequency. This is a big deal invoice frequency I am following. And what is the billing start date? I want to start from today. Now click on save. So I want to generate invoices from today till December. So click on generate invoice schedule. Now it will generate all the invoices that are weekly basis. Can you see that? Every week it will generate invoice, right? On October 27, 29, this is these are from November and these are from December, right? So this is the invoice schedule. And the next thing is, we have to create the invoice. We have a project contract now, right? Your work is going on and you are working on the project. Now this order or this project contract should be invoiced. How to invoice? Click on create invoice. Once you click on create invoice, it will create invoice record, right? So this is how you can create invoices and bill to customer. I hope you understand the whole life cycle of this project service automation, how it starts with project opportunity, how project quotation is worked, how project planning works, how to create project contracts, resource allocation, time and expense. Yes, time and expense I have not told you. How to track time and expense? You have to go to project and you can create your expenses here. Let's say every developer and every project manager should log their timing by using time entries. So they can click on new time, they can click on add and provide their date. Let's say they have worked 8 hours today, so they will update here 8 hours. What is the work? In 8 hours what he has done: work, absence, vacation, on break, travel. Then he can use it for which project. For this project he has worked 8 hours today. And what is the task? You can define the task. Although the task is not defined yet, you can keep it blank. Click on save and close. So this type in this way the developers, project managers and business analysts can track their working hours here. And again, this working hours will be, the time entries will be approved by the project manager, right? If you go here, you can see the approvals. If there is any approvals that is pending, you can see here, and if it is processed also, you can see in this list. Like that, if you want to log any expenses that you have done for some project, you can click on expenses and you can define on which day you have transacted. Let's say today you have invested something, you have done some expenses for this purpose, let's say travel, and what is the expense category you have to define? You can define, let's say you can take hotel stay, for example. For hotel stay you have expensed unit price, let's say 600. So $600 is expensed from you for this project. Then you can track it here. So you can log, so different users, different role can track their expenses, log their expenses here and time entries here. So that will be counted in the project costing, right? So I hope you understand how the things work, how resource utilization works, how resources are configured, and how roles are configured in the project, also how the things work, how we can use project templates and how to create project out of this project template, and also in the settings how we have seen invoice frequencies, organization units, right? So this is all about project service automation. When you work on a real project you can get more learnings. So thank you guys. I hope you understand how project service automation works, and practice this thing so that you can understand end-to-end implementation. Thank you guys, and also if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. See you in next video.